We on?
Wino Park.
Beautiful.
Or is it Beer Park tonight? Because he obviously couldn't find the wine of his choice.
No, I couldn't. And I've got to drive too. A bit disappointing. I can't take advantage of your cellar, Mark.
If only I had a decent cellar. Canterbury tomorrow, 8 races, and is it the greyhounds or the horses?
What do you mean by that?
5.
Oh, okay.
7, 9, 8. Oh, there's a reserve in race 3. What's the colour of the 9? Black and white check, no, black and white stripe or something. Anyway, 8,
green
7,
and
8, green and white. Yeah, 9 the last. So small fields, but interesting card at Canterbury. Rails out 6, and Chris Waller has 30% of the runners. Last Friday night, the rail was out 3, and it played quite nicely. But I think during the day, it doesn't play quite as fairly. I think it tends to be better at night.
Yep.
So rails in run might be the way to go tomorrow. Race 1, 1550, 3-year-old race. Raise an Army. The maiden is $3. $3.40 Octavian Augustus, $3.80 Crown M, $7 Bring Me the Bling, and $12 Shaolin Kung Fu. I suppose I had Octavian Augustus leading here. Crown him may jostle early. Raise an Army has the opportunity to press on, but may not. And the other two I had settling further back. Good. There you go. You're keen on this program. You're keen on race 1.
No, actually, the things I'm more interested in come up later on in the program. But I am going to give another chance to Octavian Augustus. You know, it comes out of that same early race at Randwick that day where it was advantageous to be closer to the fence and in the lead. It did loom like it was going to win. It looked absolutely fantastic between sort of the 500 and the 300 metre mark, and then gave up the ghost. So I've got a question mark about the 1400 metres up to 1550. But I think it just might be the best horse in the race. I like the jockey change, Huxings to Avdallah. And I'm going to give it one more chance. If it's not a cat, I think it wins. But what percentage probability that is?
So when it doesn't win, you say that's it, it's a cat?
Yeah.
Very binary.
It is. It is. You have to be, don't you?
In fact, probably not binary, because these chances of winning aren't 50%.
Are they? It's just all about the percentage probability of it being a cat, that's all. Look, I mean,
it is in its first preparation, you know. A 74-day break between Rosehill and Warwick Farm, which I'm calling a let-up. So I could look, the way it raced to me the other day, it suggested to me like it might need a break.
Yeah, I could entertain that idea as well.
I have tipped it on top. I have marked it favourite. We've pretty much canvassed him. Raise an Army got into a torrid spot the other day in an even sort of maiden on Friday night. He backs up quickly, and Jay Collett's replaced by Glenn Schofield. I don't know if Glenn will have anything to say there. Crown him, resumed at Goulburn broke through at Goulburn first up, and then came back to town and drew inside with Jay Parr. I think B Shin tomorrow, third up. He perhaps has a little bit more scope than Octavian Augustus. They didn't finish too far apart on that occasion. He was the one that sort of, when I looked at the horses, he was the way I wanted to go. Bring Me the Bling, I have no particular opinion of, and the bottom one comes out of a horrid provincial maiden.
Well, look, I think we've found the right form race there in the Nicolant stuff. I mean, you were disappointed with Invisibella's run in that particular race, and came out and spanked them on Saturday.
She did indeed. Race 2, fillies and mares, 1250 metres, $3.10 Dagny is having her second run back from a very long spell. $3.60 Pepperberry, also second up, breaking her maiden first up. $4 Sanea, and then we're $10 Francais, $11 Queen Misty, $12 Il Mio Destino, the despised Storm Siren, who's not always that despised, is 26 to 1, 25 to 1.
You want to go first? Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say that Il Mio Destino has designated the lead here, because Pepperberry was ridden relatively conservatively first up.
Yep.
And I'm sure the intention is to get her in behind, and there doesn't really look to be anything to go forward. So good.
Oh, you're handing the baton over to me, are you? I think there was a lot of little things in this race that I tried to get my head around, and with not a great deal of confidence, I came up with number 4, Pepperberry, on top. It's slightly raced. It could have a bit more ability than these. It was strong late over the 1200 metres. So, this preparation I liked. It trialled well, particularly for a Snowden over 1045 metres, and then it got the job done. And I think Gosford, it sort of got unbalanced around the turn, and it's only when they straightened it up it really started to let down, and when it did let down, it let down like a horse that had a little bit of ability. It beat horses like Moonlight Waltz and Nonpareil.
I saw Moonlight Waltz going backwards in a fast hurry at Kembla on Saturday.
Yeah. I'm just saying they seemed to take that turn quite nicely. It had to balance up and was going 2 to their 1 over the last 100 metres. I don't mind the extra 50 metres, but yet I say that with a question mark involved there, because I think there's a couple of other interesting things here which I think you might be mentioning shortly. Number 5, Dagny.
Feel free to mention them. I don't have any copyright or anything in this race.
Yeah, well, you know, I just like to stamp one horse I'm interested in and then just leave the rest.
Yeah,
friends
so
say
you couldn't do that here?
I've had enough of France. Sanya is always one of those horses that gets the flashing light because it gets wide and comes home reasonably strong, and I've sort of had enough of it as well. Francais, 17 starts for 2 wins, can't be one of mine, and obviously the one that they've found as favourite, Dagny. I thought, you know, there was nothing impressive about its win at Kembla Grange, but since then Otter's come out and won at Kembla on Saturday, so yeah, maybe it was better than I thought, but no, for me, number 4,
Otter's run some
Pepperberry
terrible times to get away with that race on Saturday. Look, if she was all style, Dagny, you know, and the market suggested that she would be able to do that. It looked slowly run race on paper, and she just rounded them up. So she goes into a professionals race and has that momentum, but still will probably have to come from the back. I suppose he could settle a little closer, given that the in-runnings are up for grabs here. They're mostly back markers. Il Mio Destino has had 3 recent city runs. In fact, 4, back from a spell. She raced outside the lead last time at Warwick Farm. Tomorrow she gets control. It's her day to show what 6-year-old mares who've had 41 starts can do.
I was interested in her, except for that one stat that you mentioned.
Certainly. Queen Misty has a line with Sanaya that suggests that it's wherever Sanaya goes, it goes. Certainly look, the emphasis on the last start maiden winners is not bad. Both of them have style, Pepperberry and Dagny.
Oh, but it's so hard, Mark. It's to come out of your maiden and win again.
Yeah, I don't know who was responsible for that.
I know.
Especially mares, you know. There's nothing better than a last start win for mares.
Yeah, definitely.
That's race 2. Race 3, where is the only maiden on the day. It's over 1200 metres, and Zumbalina is one of very few horses with a city runs in this race, and she's $1.95 off a short break. She debuted at 33 to 1, I think, on this course, and she's trialled since. She's at $1.95, as I mentioned. $5 Winch off 3 provincial runs. $7.50 the Portelli Deanne Pena hot combo there, Moccasin Miss. $9 Summer Moore is Waller as well. And 17 Gay Time Girl, Les Bridge debutante. 18 Yay Bravo, Waller debutante. Winch uses his barrier. He's only had 1 run with blinkers and raced on the speed in a fast run race at Hawkesbury. You'd imagine that Zumbalina settles closer from her lower draw, and I had Moccasin Miss perhaps trying to lead them. Any opinion here, Gord?
Well, I really think that 7 Moccasin Miss will try and lead them. Dean Pena doesn't seem to do anything else. No weight. Instructions from Gary Portelli, jump out and go. I like that. I liked the 1,030 metre trial. It was running decent time.
You're tipping Gary Portelli?
Yeah. We can't have every variable we want, as previously mentioned.
Trying to win last Wednesday.
Yes, well, Rebel Dane. Trying
to win last Friday.
Yeah. I was kind of impressed with its trial. Yeah, it was pushed out, but it did do it in reasonable time. It just looked like one of those professional types that had jumped to the lead rail well at Canterbury. I thought with the 6 metre rail that would be advantageous, but you've not sort of like given me the complete go-ahead as far as that's concerned.
No, and, it'll be all right.
The other one I looked at obviously was Zumbelina. I think it deserves to be favourite, but I heard some people, some trial watchers sort of intimate to me that you know, it was soft, but I thought it was actually pushed out and was still very close to the two other horses in that particular trial. It was only over the 892, and if you noticed 100 metres past the post, it didn't go past them. So I'm suggesting that trial wasn't as good as people are making it.
Hello, flashing light here. Gordo's pot at the price.
I could end up backing it at the right price, but see, it's just...
Well, what's going to make the market for it?
They're the only two. They're the only two, so...
Yeah. Right, yeah. Number 2, Summer Moore, is a stablemate of the bottom one, and did something on debut in
a better standard race.
In a race where Mediterranean was heavily spruiked. The third horse, Glenn's Derby horse, Malaise, then came out and won. Any comment on his trial?
No, just a typical Waller trial, so hard to read anything into.
Winch is relatively well better found than I would want, but really did a very good job at home last time, and is pumped. He's had a 1300 metre run, stepped up from 1,000 on that occasion. You don't like seeing a low in the Formula, do you?
Well, fourth up, you know, if I'm going to forgive a fourth up horse, I suggest it wouldn't be with that particular trainer, and I'm not a big fan of Christian Reith at the moment. And the horses that it's run round, there's nothing spectacular there. I mean, 2 back, Ozark and Samadou, maybe there's something in that, but it did get beaten by 3.8 lengths. 7 or 9 will be the best horse in the race, and one of them will be winning.
I want to mention one horse that is going to be overlooked. Well, is overlooked to some degree. Special Missile carried B. McDougall on debut in the Demolition Maiden at Gosford, and really was given an awful passage. B. Shin on tomorrow. It's a horse to keep your eye on there.
You might have half convinced me there, Mark. That's reasonably interesting. I'll have to have a second look at that one later on.
So that's the 3-year-old maiden, where obviously Waller has a strong hand and Gary Portelli has a strong hand. Race 4. So we're third consecutive sprint course race, 1,250 metres, regulation benchmark, and Kandinsky is our favourite at $3.50. The breakthrough winner Quantrill is $4.60. The renowned first up, or he's a given, is $5.50. Coolcraft, the Canterbury specialist, is $6.50. Out to $6.50 Noir, so not out to, same price, same line. $12 Choice Lager, and long odds the other 2. Choice Lager would be keen for the lead. Noir may be able to beat him to it. It's just Choice Lager's fresh, but he's back in distance. Noir is up from 11.
Jay Collett.
Well, you know, what's he going to do? He's got the speed to lead if he wants, and $6.50 suggests he sort of needs to, doesn't he? Good.
Yeah,
come on, this is an even bunch.
Yep, even bunch. Struggled with the race. Went for the lightly race number 2, Kandinsky. It only had 900 metre trials, so I'm suggesting there's more improvement after its 1200 metre second last start. I know it sort of got PR in that particular race, but we know that Satirical Magic, given the right circumstances, can really rattle late and get a victory. I didn't mind the barrier 1 to barrier 5, a little bit of a golden switch there, and Rock of Mahal came out and did the job on Saturday, so there's some sort of
Rock of Mahal, didn't it run behind your horse Cottage the other day?
Yeah, so that's not too bad, is it? Cottage is a champion.
Kandinsky was scratched from Randwick on Saturday to run here, reserved for the race, Gord.
Yeah, well, reserved for the race, and another thing that sort of half tweaked my interest, isn't it, is that I think you found it on top on Saturday, didn't you?
I did.
You find it on top on Saturday, well, you don't want to ignore it when it's running around on a Wednesday, that's for sure, but I probably won't be betting in the race.
I was thinking on Saturday that it had control of that race, because if you remember, what happened in that race? Montpere led in a crawl. It was Kandinsky was drawn out to take control of the race. I don't imagine he'll lead tomorrow. So what to make of this race? I went looking for Noir. I went looking for a little bit of choice lager. I didn't go looking for He's a Given, who I realise he's got those 2 wins first up, but he's still first up in town, and the wins aren't in town. And Coolcraft, well, you know, like Jesus, has been doing nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And it's got, because he's got 2 wins at Canterbury, he has to be $6.50 in a race that, well, I suppose he's sort of fit, but that's about it. So, what do I say? Well, I say that Quantrill has, you know, maybe Gate 1 is not ideal, but look, he's broken through, he's there.
He's been running around.
He's there.
Kind of get the feel we made our money out of him last start when he went round at $10. Or, well, he firmed in $4.60, but he did open at 10. I've made my money out of him. I'm moving off.
All right, so God has spoken. Dom, dom, dom. That's race 4. We shall be back with the quaddy legs from Canterbury. It's an exciting 8-race card. It's the new regime. You get $80,000 races midweek, not this time, and you get 8 races now and then. So we'll be back with the last 4 after this break. Or in fact, in the next video.